My beloved child, if on this very day I were to say, the time has come for you to leave this world, would your heart recognize that call? Or would you still be clinging to the things that keep you from truly living? Tomorrow holds a moment you cannot afford to miss, a divine summons that will shatter every illusion you have ever trusted and reveal a path into eternity. Listen now with all your spirit, for what you hear in these next few minutes may determine whether you step boldly into the light I have prepared or linger in shadows of regret. Stay with me until the end, for I am about to unfold truths you must grasp before the hour slips away. I do not ask this to cast a shadow over your heart, but because I long for you to pause, not to tally your achievements, but to contemplate deeply who you have become. Let us walk side by side and ponder this sacred passage together. My child, I have never observed your life merely through the outcomes you achieved, but through the motivations that stirred your innermost being. I have not gauged your value by worldly successes, but by how you treated each individual, each instant, each seemingly trivial detail that went unnoticed by others. I have witnessed your eyes not only when they gleamed with triumph, but also when they shone through sorrow. I have seen you choose compassion when bitterness beckoned, and bow in empathy when others recoiled in disdain or indifference. In all these moments, I have recognized myself reflected in you. You need not perform grand deeds to please me. It is your decision to live with authenticity, to love with sincerity, and to forgive with wholeheartedness. In a world rife with skepticism and self-interest, these choices stand as true proof that your life has meaning. The years you've spent upon this earth have not gone by in vain. They have inscribed eternal imprints upon your soul. And perhaps the most marvelous truth of all is that, even if you have not always perceived it, you have achieved what many pursue their entire lives without ever discovering. You have led a life of significance. I do not deny that you have faltered. I have not overlooked the tears you shed in the silence of night, unknown to all but you. Yet even in your most vulnerable moments, you never abandoned the light. You chose to press on. You chose to take one more step, even when your strength had run dry. You chose to pray when heaven appeared to be silent. You chose to love again, even after being wounded. And it is these very choices, my beloved, that surpass any sermon, that exceed any crown and glory. They are what stir the heavens and cause my gaze to remain tenderly fixed upon your life. Should you still feel there is unfinished business within you, do not mistake that for failure. That sense of incompletion is not a shortcoming, but rather proof that a divine flame continues to burn within you, one ignited from heaven. It is the flame of purpose and love that still pours forth from a longing to offer yourself to something far greater than you. I do not reproach you for this. On the contrary, I treasure it, for it reveals that your heart still beats in unity with my kingdom. You have planted more seeds than you realize. You have transformed more lives than you know. You have served as light in places so dark that you yourself never even entered. Therefore, if you were to ask me, have I done enough? I would respond, more than enough. If you worry you have neglected something important, I would assure you that even your so-called failures I have woven into a beautiful tapestry. If you doubt your worth, I would take your hand and remind you of what I have declared from the very beginning. You are mine. You are precious in my eyes. You are my chosen delight. Even though that final day is not yet upon you, let your soul rest in the peace of knowing that if today were indeed your last, you have lived a life worth living. Not because you were without flaw, but because you were genuine. Not because the world applauded you, but because I know every fiber of your being, every heartbeat, every thought. And I say to you, you have lived fully. My beloved child, do not let thoughts of parting weigh heavily upon your heart. Do not allow grief to take root in your soul. When you hear my summons, know that what is unfolding is not an end, nor a final farewell in the sense the world perceives departure. No, this is not an end as human hearts dread. It is a transformation, a passage from the realm of constraint to one without boundaries, a crossing from the temporary to the eternal. I am not taking anything from you. I am simply beckoning you into what has been prepared for you before the foundations of the world were set. Picture, if you will, that this body, with its limitations, weariness, and wounds, is but an outer shell, a temporary vessel. It has faithfully served its divine purpose with every breath you drew, every step you took, every tear you shed in love and in the pursuit of righteousness. Yet now, I am lifting you from that shell so your soul may ascend, weightless, radiant, and free, restored to the form I crafted from light and purpose. This is not an end. This is a holy metamorphosis, the final flight of a bird freed from the cage of time and space, soaring into eternity. Every ending serves as a prelude to a new beginning. What the world calls death is but the closure of one chapter in a life that never truly ends. Just as a seed must decay in the soil to burst forth as new life, so too is your soul being invited into a more complete and glorious version of itself. I do not call you to abandon you. I call you to bring you home, to the place where you have always belonged. A place where no tear needs wiping, no loneliness lingers, no pain endures in silence. You are stepping into a realm where light never fades, where peace is unshakable, and where love knows no conditions. There, you will grasp more deeply than ever before the truths that on earth you could only sense in part, the questions left unanswered, the suffering that once seemed purposeless, the losses that never found recompense. All will be unveiled as though a veil is lifted, and you will understand that I was never silent, that I have always been active, and that every sorrow you carried held eternal significance. You are not venturing into the unknown. You are returning home, your true home, which your soul always yearned for when life pressed too heavily upon you. It is not some empty, unseen place. It is filled with unceasing praise, with light the human eye has never beheld, and with every past sorrow transformed into a crown of glory. There, you will be embraced by the souls who went before you, those who prayed for you, loved you, and awaited your arrival. And above all, I, your Father, will hold you close in the arms that once guarded you throughout every storm. My child, the instant you relinquish your grip on this earthly body will be the very moment you grasp my hand more fully than ever. I will be there, not distant, not silent, but gazing into your eyes and declaring, "My child, it is finished. You have run your race. You have kept the faith. Now the crown of life awaits you." In that look, there will be no fear, only fulfillment, because you have finally returned to where you have always belonged. All that you ever offered, your love, your forgiveness, your faithfulness, your tears, given as sacred sacrifices, none of it was squandered or lost. They are inscribed in the book of life. They are treasures laid up in heaven. And when you enter into eternity, you will behold a great reward awaiting you, not just for what you did, but for the love you poured out, for the faith you sustained, for not giving up in seasons of drought, and for continuing to sow seeds even when the soil felt barren. Beloved child, in this sacred moment when the veil between two realms thins more than ever, I call you near, not with a thunderous tone, but with a whisper from the depths of your soul, where I have always resided, where my invitation has never ceased. Dispel every illusion that has long shrouded your sight. Cast off the mask of fear the world has imposed upon you. Separation is but a fleeting shadow, for, in the truest reality, you have never been abandoned, never truly walked alone. Even when it seemed the entire world turned its back on you, I was there, before you, behind you, within you, and around you, silent but never absent. My love is unlike anything you have ever known. It does not fluctuate with your emotions, does not wane with time, and is never withdrawn when you stumble. It is like an endless ocean, vast, patient, and all-embracing. You are a small river, yet you have always flowed toward me, toward that great ocean, even when you believed you were lost. I placed that yearning within you, a deep longing to return, to merge with the source of life from which you were born. Every moment of loneliness you endured, every night you curled up in silence feeling unseen, was not lost. I counted every tear, heard every sigh, and received every prayer you whispered when you no longer had strength to speak. Those fragile expressions are precious jewels in my sight, evidence of a faith that burned quietly but persistently, a loyalty that never dimmed even in the shadows. It is these very things that have paved the way for the divine encounter you are now approaching, a meeting not heralded by fanfare or grandeur, but revealed in the supernatural radiance of eternal truth, demonstrating that you have always belonged to me. My child, this moment is not the closing of a life, but the unfolding of a new reality, never fully known before. The limitations of the physical body, weariness, sickness, aging, and brokenness, are now being lifted like an old ragged garment, replaced with robes of glory. Your soul is drawing near to a place words cannot aptly describe. There is no more time to worry, no past to lament, no future to dread, only the complete, radiant, all-encompassing presence of me. You will no longer plead for acceptance. You will no longer question if you were good enough, strong enough, worthy enough. For the instant you step into that light, you will know that my love has always been the ultimate affirmation. There will be no need to prove yourself, no need to strive. You will be welcomed home like a long-lost child, like an old friend finally reunited, like a star reclaiming its place in the sky. And in that moment, every old wound will fade like a distant dream. There will be no longer any division between here and there, no distance between you and me. Allow the quiet joy within you to rise like a flame, not a boisterous joy, but a deep gratitude for knowing that each trial you endured held purpose. Every stumble, every internal struggle, even the moments when you questioned your faith, all of it was used by me to shape, mold, and guide you to where you were always meant to be. No pain is ever wasted when entrusted into my hands. No tear is meaningless when it falls within my love. Now, as your soul readies to cross into a new threshold, I want you to understand that beyond it lies not just light, but a reward, not of silver or crowns, but the profound fulfillment of a soul resting in a love that no longer requires striving. You will see what prophets of old only glimpsed. You will exist in the reality every hymn has only faintly hinted at. In that place, love is not merely an abstraction. It is the very air you breathe. Peace is not simply a feeling. It is the foundation of all existence. You will reunite with those who went before you, the souls you once loved and had to leave behind. But this time there will be no more farewells. You will dwell among a community of souls born anew in perfect unity, without flaw, without contention, without misunderstanding, only pure love flowing ceaselessly like a river of life. And in the center of that kingdom, I will be the light. There will be no need for the sun, no need for a temple, for I myself will be the radiance, the dwelling place, the breath of all that is alive. So, my child, do not grieve for what you leave behind. Do not let your heart become weighed down by burdens that cannot follow you. You are not losing anything by coming home. You are stepping into fullness. You are not leaving goodness behind. You are entering something far greater. If there remains anything you feel is unfinished, I will continue it through the lives you have touched. A word of encouragement, a gentle embrace, a loving deed. These last beyond your sight, reach farther than you can measure, and will continue to bear fruit in every place you planted a seed. My beloved, the great reunion draws near. Let your soul rest like the final bird departing its nest, like the last dew dissolving in dawn's light, like the closing chord that ushers in an eternal symphony. I extend my arms to you, and you will not merely come to me, you will dissolve into me, becoming one with the primal love, boundless, unending, complete. Release every bitterness you have carried like coarse stones in your traveler's pack. Let the wounds that once cut deep, dissolve like mist under morning sun. You no longer need to bear those burdens. You are going to a place where there are no more tears, no more shadows, no pain that can endure in silence. Do not hold fast to the angers that once made you recoil in fear or blaze in wrath. They are of no benefit to your soul now. All the unresolved misunderstandings, the words left unsaid, the distances never bridged, they will be healed in the perfect light of my kingdom. There, love is not limited by the past, nor marred by injuries. Everything you have yet to forgive completely, everything you could not release, I will gently set free. Step lightly from the attachments your heart still clings to, those faces you cherished, the laughter, the memories, the familiar places. You have not lost them, they are not erased. I will preserve them all in a form more beautiful, more whole, untouched by time or separation. You are not abandoning love. You are heading to the place where love is made complete, unbound by flesh or language. Do not sorrow over material things, possessions, wealth, or accomplishments you built with sweat and tears. They served a purpose. They may have been instruments of mercy, ways you uplifted others and added worth to the world. But now, you no longer need them. These things were never you. They never defined you. You are a soul crafted in my image, a divine breath clothed in a temporary form. And now is the moment you return to your truest self, pure, holy, unburdened. Do not regard this departure as a farewell, but as a transformation. You are not vanishing like a fading star. You are like light being drawn back to its source, to the eternal sun that never sets. You are not closing a chapter like a book being shut, but like a melody transitioning into a new movement. Its notes no longer confined to instruments, but reverberating freely throughout the spiritual realm. You are not withdrawing from life. You are entering a deeper dimension of it. Those who love you will mourn, yes, they will weep, and they will miss the warmth you once provided. Yet in time, when they close their eyes and listen deeply, they will sense you are still near, not as a haunting specter, but as a subtle rhythm in the tapestry of eternal life, like a gentle breeze brushing the soul, like a quiet whisper in a peaceful dream. You are no longer here in form, but you remain through the love you gave, through the seeds you sowed in their hearts, through the indelible imprint of a soul that lived fully and loved deeply. And eventually, they will understand. No one truly vanishes when love has been given sincerely. That love becomes an unbreakable thread between souls, a golden thread stretching from your heart to mine, and from me to all you have ever touched. Let this truth comfort you. You are not forgotten. You are being called home to be remembered in the light that never fades, in the sacred memory time cannot erase. Now, as you relinquish all earthly ties, let your soul be at peace, like a vessel untethering from a familiar shore and drifting toward the ocean of light. Allow serenity to fill each crevice once occupied by pain, fear, or longing. Let me carry you into my rest, where the clamor of the world gives way to the eternal hymns of heaven, where every weariness is transformed into glorious renewal. My beloved child, your existence does not end here. It is only being elevated, expanded, and set free. Your soul embarks upon a journey without confines, unbound by place, time, or past sorrow. You will know what it is to live truly, to love purely, to be fully present, not through a dim reflection, but face to face. And I will be there, as I have always been, but this time you will see me more clearly than ever. No more separation, no more longing, nothing to hinder the flow of love returning to its origin. So, dearest one, let go, not in fear, but in surrender. Exhale your final breath in this world so that you may inhale the breath that is eternal. Step across as one moving from a humble cottage into a grand palace. Let your tears carry a smile, for you know this is not loss but gain, not disappearance but revelation, not farewell but homecoming. As your quiet steps tread upon the sacred path unveiling before you, pause and perceive the divine presence enveloping you. The road you traverse is not random, not purposeless. It has been interlaced with the pure light of countless souls who have gone before you. Those who loved, who wept, who fought, and completed their journey with unwavering faith. Each of those souls is a living lamp, not extinguished by death, but continuing to shine for those who follow, offering the very light they cherished during their days on earth. This light is not blinding or loud, but gentle and enduring. It is distilled from sacrifice, from silent endurance, from whispered prayers in the deepest hours, from decisions to love even as the heart bled. Now you walk among these halos of light like a river of radiance bridging heaven and earth, like a silent testimony declaring, you too can finish well. Let your heart turn back for one final glance at your earthly pilgrimage, not with regret, but with reverence. Remember the trembling first steps when you realized life was no easy journey. Recall the times you stumbled so severely it seemed impossible to rise again. Yet somehow, drawing upon strength beyond yourself, you stood, moved forward, and clung to the belief that the light ahead was real. That strength did not originate from within you alone. You know it was I who bestowed that strength upon you in those very moments when you felt too weary to continue. Think of the moments when genuine love, fragile yet powerful, touched your soul. A timely embrace, a gentle word amid a storm, a small gesture of kindness that calmed the unrest within you. None of these were random. They were my healing touch, soft and persistent, working through people, through the ordinary, through what seemed insignificant. You did not walk alone, even when you believed no one stood beside you. My presence was nearer than the breath in your lungs, quiet yet faithfully constant. Oh, my child, remember the darkest days, the ones where despair swallowed the horizon, the days when light felt extinguished, when your prayers seemed to echo back empty, when exhaustion sank into every cell of your being, days you wished to surrender completely. Yet you lived, you endured, you believed. You might not have realized it, but in those tearful moments, I was closer to you than ever. I did not speak loudly nor intervene with force, but I placed my hand on your shoulder and wrapped my arms around you in the silence. And you felt it, even if only a faint flicker of warmth. It was that flicker that carried you through. Those moments, when heaven was hushed yet nearest, were when I bestowed upon you an invisible gift. Strength amid weakness, courage amid fear, and stability in the storm. Not to render you superhuman, but to show you that you were never meant to carry the burden alone. You pressed on, not because you were exceptional, but because you were held, protected, and loved. That love, my cherished one, is what has shaped your soul today. A soul not without scars, but filled with truth. A soul that has ached, that has loved, that has mourned, but never surrendered. I witnessed every instance you chose what was right over what was easy. Every time you held your peace for the sake of harmony. Every time you forgave while your heart still bled. Every time you returned to me after losing your way, pressing your weary head against me like a child seeking comfort. All of that, my dear one, is holiness, not the absence of mistakes, but the relentless choice to love. Now, as you take these final steps on your earthly path, I do not wish you to walk in fear or regret. I want you to know that every moment you lived had significance. Every act of love, every quiet sacrifice, every unanswered prayer you offered anyhow. They have all formed a bridge from your heart to heaven, and you are walking upon that bridge now, step by step, gently, steadily, toward the light. Do not fear the unknown. Do not mistake the stillness of this hour for emptiness. No, you journey to the place where all things will be clarified, where every doubt will dissolve at a single glance, a welcoming embrace, a smile heaven reserved just for you. In that light, you will finally know you were never alone, never forsaken. Continue onward, my child, under the light of those who have gone before you, in the silent songs of angels, and in the blessings whispered by the souls you once loved. I am waiting for you, not with judgment, but with a love deeper than words could ever convey. When you arrive, I will not ask how much you accomplished. Instead, I will look deeply into your eyes and ask, did you love? Did you allow me to love you enough? And I believe you will smile. For even in your stumbles, even through the paths you thought wrong, my love always guided you home. My beloved, if there is something in your life worthy of honor, it is not the tranquil days untouched by turmoil, nor the splendid victories recalled by the world. The true beauty of your journey lies in the places tears once fell, in the agony that pierced you like a blade. In those moments, you collapsed believing you could never rise again. Yet it was in that wilderness love began to bloom. Not a vague romantic love, but a steadfast, courageous, sacred love that comforted you, healed you, uplifted you, and transformed your brokenness into fertile ground teeming with new life. It is that love, the love flowing from me through those I placed beside you, that soaked into the scriptures you read through tears, that echoed in your trembling prayers whispered into the night, that turned every wound into a doorway leading you deeper into truth, into light, into eternal life. Love did not erase the pain, but it changed its essence. It enabled you to see that suffering is not the end, but the dawn of a holy awakening, a necessary breaking to create space for light to pour through. From the deepest places of that breaking, you grew, not by triumphant leaps, but through steady breaths, gradual risings, and valiant decisions to keep loving even when your heart felt shattered. Your soul is no longer a blank canvas, but a masterpiece etched with love, pain, forgiveness, and courage. Within each scar, the divine light has taken residence, as though each crack were inlaid with gold from the treasury of grace. Now, as you stand on the threshold of something sacred, beyond comprehension, allow your heart to open wide, like a field without fences. Cast off the final garment of self-protection. Nothing remains to hide, nothing more to withhold. You have lived, you have loved, you have endured, you have overcome. Now it is time to receive what you once only dared to glimpse, to receive heaven's affirmation that you have fulfilled the purpose for which you were made, to receive a reward not earned by deeds, but given in response to faithfulness. Embrace the unfolding mystery as dawn parts the veil of night. Do not fear what you have never seen. What you are entering is not foreign to your soul, for I placed sacred memories within you before you were formed in your mother's womb. You always held the map home. It is I who now guide you. From this moment on, every step you take will be a return, not a departure. A return to your true self, to your Creator, to the arms that have awaited you since the beginning. You do not need to comprehend everything to enter, for in the new world you approach, wisdom is not something to grasp. It is as natural as light filling a room once darkness is gone. There, you will no longer question why, for the answer will be evident in my gaze, in my gentle, unspoken presence. You will no longer cry out my name in desperation, for before your voice forms, I will have already answered. You will no longer seek peace, for peace will abide in you as a steady heartbeat. My dearest child, now that you have come to the threshold between the finite and the eternal, I fervently invite you to release all that belonged to yesterday. Do not cling to faded portrayals of former days, to the faces that have dimmed in your recollection, or to seasons that once bloomed bright but now have passed. Do not let your mind become ensnared in the echoes of a past where sorrow and joy once dwelled, for that is no longer the place you must inhabit. For now, I am opening before you a realm of splendor that defies human language, a realm surpassing any boundary your earthly heart has known. The light of eternity is not a searing flame that harms the eyes. It is as gentle as the first dawn, yet profound enough to reach into the deepest recesses of your soul. That light now calls to you, not as a command, but as a tender invitation, patient and loving. Come, my child, with a heart unburdened by regret. Let every fiber of your being, every quivering emotion, every final memory of this earthly life melt into deep gratitude, for nothing has been wasted. No single moment of your life lacked meaning. Each breath you took, each dawn that greeted you, each quiet heartbeat was a gift, not given because you deserved it, but bestowed by grace, an expression of unconditional love so that you might live, feel, love, and grow. As this chapter draws to a close, you can look back and see clearly that what seemed small and ordinary was in reality filled with deeper significance than you ever imagined. This is the true beauty of a life fully lived, not in perfection, but in sincerity and steadfast devotion. Recall, my child, the trials that wore you down, the tears you shed, the moments you doubted your worth. These were never punishments. They were the rough shell encasing the pearl within you. They forged your resilience, honed your endurance, and sharpened your sacred intuition. Each storm you weathered was a verse written into eternity, not a record of outward triumphs, but of quiet, courageous decisions. The choice to believe, the choice to love, the choice to keep walking even when the road was unclear. And every joy, whether a simple delight on a rainy day or a moment of awe at a marvel, was a testament to my boundless love. You were never alone in happiness, just as you were never truly alone in sorrow. Those rays of delight were my whispers. I see you. I am with you. I rejoice with you. I share in your every smile. Now, as you draw ever closer to the source of that light, let every joy become a gentle bridge carrying your soul into the fullness of my presence. Do not cling to what is fleeting, the familiar faces, the unfinished tasks, the unspoken words. All will find their completion, not by your hands but by mine. I know your regrets. I understand the moments you wish you had lived differently. But my child, my grace is ample for all of it. Nothing unfinished remains that I cannot complete. Nothing you have relinquished stays forgotten. Accept this truth. Let it calm your heart and soothe the final ripples of your mind. Now I invite you into eternal rest, not as one seeking refuge from weariness, but as a distinguished guest entering a feast prepared especially for you. No longer will you sit in the shadows. You will be placed at the front, clothed in new garments, and given a new name, a name known only to you and me, written in the ink of eternal love. And in that moment, every wish you once held will become reality. The love you yearned for will no longer be awaited. It will be the very air you breathe. The peace you once longed for will no longer be a mere feeling. It will be your everyday experience. My child, embrace this transformation with the heart of one who knows they are not walking into darkness, but stepping into brilliant light. Welcome what is glorious with no hesitation, with gratitude deeper than words. Rejoice that you have lived, that you have loved, that you have learned through joy and sorrow, through brightness and shadow, that I was always present. Now, as the veils lift and all becomes clear, you will see this truth more vividly than ever. You are being welcomed home, not only by me, but by those who have gone before you, by angels rejoicing, by the entirety of heaven celebrating the return of a cherished soul. This home, dear one, is not a distant dream. It is where you have always belonged. Now proceed forward, not with longing glances behind, not with lingering regret, for you are not losing anything. You are returning to the place where all things truly began. Beloved, as the veil between this world and eternity parts, let your soul be carried on wings of sacred truth, that your essence, beyond form, beyond feeling, beyond every passing experience, was always destined to return to the source of life, the boundless well that never dries. That place has neither fixed shape nor measurable bounds of time and space. It is everything, yet it remains one, a holy fullness from which all things flow and to which all things return. Let your imagination stir through years of seeking and listening. Picture a divine vision, a sacred tapestry unfolding before you. Not a tapestry of power or status, but a cosmic fabric woven from light, from memory, from spirit, from pure existence. Each thread in this tapestry is a soul, a life, a unique, irreplaceable story. And the thread bearing your name, radiant, profound and genuine, has been woven into that tapestry as a gentle melody within the infinite sacred symphony. Can you see it? The hues of your soul thread are not only shades of sorrow, they also gleam with the golden light of every act of forgiveness. The green of hope you clung to even when every door seemed closed. The warm rose of love you gave without expecting anything in return, and the deep violet of those downright holy moments when you faced yourself and heeded my whisper. Within each of these, and every small, unnoticed gesture, these have contributed to a segment of heaven's masterpiece. Each act of kindness, each silent sacrifice unrecognized by the world, has become a vital brushstroke in the canvas of eternity. Every time you offered a smile to a wounded heart, each moment you chose humility over pride, each time you prayed for someone else while carrying your own burden, these acts caused your thread to shimmer with divine light in heaven's grand tapestry. I observed it all, and not a single detail escaped my notice. Then there were times when revelation burst within you, moments when you grasped truth, when you chose light over darkness, when you opened your heart rather than shutting it. Those moments became stars within your thread. They do not diminish with time. They shine on within the unseen picture I am bringing to completion. And when that painting finally stands revealed in eternal light, you will see that your life was never in vain. Every moment you lived was a precious part of something far more magnificent, far more holy, far more complete than you ever could have fathomed. My child, the union awaiting you is not a fading into nothingness, but a return to your purest, most original self. You will not lose your identity. You will not vanish like a droplet in the ocean. On the contrary, in that union, your true self, unburdened by wounds and freed from limitations, will be revealed fully. Like an instrument expertly tuned, your soul will merge into the eternal symphony the universe has echoed since creation itself, and your voice will rise, unmistakable, distinct, and radiant. Do not dread this dissolution. Embrace it as a long-lost child returning home. You need not resist or withhold anything, for in this divine merging, the most exquisite parts of you will not be erased. They will be elevated to the loftiest heights. I have prepared this place not as a reward, but as a natural progression for those who have lived authentically, loved deeply, suffered genuinely, and held on to hope passionately. You will stand among others, each with their own light, their own fragrance, their own essence, and together you will form an inseparable wholeness. There will be no divisions between before and after, above and below, high and low. Only perfect harmony will remain, a living mosaic that shifts, expands, and mirrors the primordial love that birthed all things. In that union, you will see me not as a distant figure you once prayed to, but as the presence that fills all, yet is more near, more personal, more complete than ever before. You will no longer call me by name, for all distances between us vanish. You will know me through the profound intuition of your soul, through silence that speaks and satisfies. In that same union, you will understand that you have always been a part of me. Every word you spoke, every step you took, every affection you expressed was infused with a whisper of eternity, for I have always lived within you. Now you return to that source, not to end, but to begin a journey without bounds, a journey of illumination, of divine insight, of ceaseless creation, and of love unblemished by fear or time. When I say the time has come for you to explore the depths of your being, I am not plucking you from life. I am inviting you into a higher form of it, a realm where veils that obscured your mind like thick mist are gently lifted by the Spirit's breath. Open your heart without hesitation, for you are about to step into the Holy of Holies after a long pilgrimage through the desert. What lies beyond the thin veil of your current perception is not an end. It is a sacred commencement, a full unveiling of what has always been present but hidden by time's shell. Yield the illusions that have long confined you in a rigid mold. That mold once convinced you that you were a separate self, cut off from all things, from your creator, and from the unseen but potent flow of the universe. You are not isolated. You have never been alone. Even when you felt forsaken, you were connected to the innermost pulse of all existence. And now I call you back to that truth. You are part of a living essence, breathing and moving, creating and loving through every layer of matter and spirit. Picture, if you can, a symphony resonating across the cosmos, not in audible notes, but in energy, in light, in waves of pure love. That melody is the primal breath of life, the echo from the first moment of creation, and also the heartbeat you have always carried within you, even when you forgot it. Now, you are invited not merely to hear that song, but to dissolve into it, to become a living instrument within the limitless harmony. The path ahead does not draw you into solitude. On the contrary, it leads you into communion more profound than anything you have ever known. This communion is not built on words or forms, but on a transcendent plane beyond all separation, where soul and matter no longer stand apart. You will no longer strive to understand or prove anything, for in that sacred space, your sole task will be to simply be, and that state of being will become your most beautiful prayer, the clearest declaration of your worth, your wholeness, and your true identity. Reflect upon the fleeting bonds that once defined your days on earth, the names others gave you, the roles society assigned you, the standards you reluctantly tried to meet. They were never wicked, but they could never fully define you, for you are more than that. You are light that once shattered, yet chose to shine. You are breath that was once stifled, yet rose to sing a song of love. You are living testimony to something both fragile and everlasting. Now, as you release your hold on old forms, you enter the most authentic part of yourself, the part I crafted not from dust, but from the very breath of my being. In this new domain, time does not flow linearly. You no longer chase after the past, nor does the past haunt you with regret. The future no longer weighs upon you with anxiety. Past, present, and future intertwine in a sacred spiral of eternity, where each moment is equally holy. As you dissolve into that spiral, you will no longer feel separation. You will sense everything at once. The presence of those you once loved, the forgiveness for those who once hurt you, and the complete acceptance of yourself as you are. Light and darkness, those once opposing forces, become notes in the same divine harmony. You will see that darkness is not your adversary, but the canvas on which light reveals its brilliance. That sorrow does not nullify joy, but deepens it, rendering it more authentic and profound. Everything finds its rightful place in the sacred balance of existence, even those parts you once longed to erase. That is the eternal song you are about to embrace, the song of love, love that is unconditioned, unbent by memory or fear, untouched by circumstance or time. My beloved, a dance awaits your soul, not a performance, but an intimate, still communion between you and the one who created all things. In this dance, neither of us leads. We move as one in perfect rhythm, where each step, each glance, each pause is suffused with divine purpose. Step into it without fear, for you approach not an abyss, but a summit from which nothing can cast you down. Let every boundary dissolve, the limit of knowledge, the confines of emotion, the illusions of an ego that once believed it was your entirety. Then your soul will be reborn into a radiance so pure that even language will fall short of capturing its essence. My precious one, as you draw ever nearer to that luminous realm beckoning your soul homeward, let your mind once more revisit your earthly journey, not through eyes of regret, but through lenses of understanding, of a love refined through trials, and of a gratitude too profound for words. Take a solemn breath and recall the souls who touched yours, whether in a fleeting instant or across the span of many years, because no crossing of souls is ever random. Each glance, each touch, each spoken word carried a message from the eternal realm. one you will fully grasp only when you look back from the other side of eternity. I have woven every soul into your life like threads in a sacred tapestry. That tapestry is not merely a symbol of your personal journey. It is part of the grand design of the universe, a divine masterpiece in which every soul plays a role through their choices: love or hatred, forgiveness or resentment, openness or withdrawal. And you, my faithful one, have crafted a beautiful portion of it through the authenticity of the connections you nurtured, through the embraces that needed no words, through the silent moments where your heart interceded for others. Every relationship you formed, whether with someone you deeply loved or with a passing stranger, was an opportunity for eternal love to shine through a transient form. The simplest acts, a smile offered to a stranger, a heartfelt question posed to a weary soul, a timely hand extended, these ripple into the unseen realms as waves of light that never cease. Although you cannot see them, they continue to spread beyond time's boundaries, weaving hearts together in the very design I conceived at creation's dawn. Beloved, the love you gave and the love you received, whether it was returned or not, whether it was acknowledged or overlooked, has never vanished. It has become part of the living tapestry of my endless creation work. This love is not what the world often defines as love. It is not possession, not fleeting emotion, not a transaction of gain and loss. True love is presence. It is the gaze that sees another. It is the listening that understands another. It is the patience that grants another space to be holy in their own way. Each time you love in this manner, you do not simply touch another soul. You alter the very flow of the universe. For true love is the most potent creative force, and it is this force that holds all things in sacred motion. I affirm to you, in the radiant tapestry of life, not a single act of love you offered has vanished. Not one tear shed in forgiveness has fallen into emptiness. Not one comforting word offered with your whole heart has been swallowed by oblivion. Everything you did is recorded in the sacred realm where time cannot fade it, where each deed is preserved like pure light in my heart. These are seeds, each destined to bear fruit in the season I have set. Whether in this world or in the eternal domain, they shall never be in vain. Though you dwelt among the world, your soul has always been tethered to something deeper. The bonds you maintained are more than personal connections. They are confirmations that you still remember the way home, that you continue to choose love amidst a world drenched in deceit, that you have guarded your heart's compassion in a world that makes hardening it easy. For this, you have become a luminous thread, not through gaudy brilliance, but through the truth within you, through the inner light that radiates from a heart that has experienced both bitterness and sweetness. The echoes of your life, what you lived, what you gave, what you sacrificed, continue to reverberate through the corridors of time like an unforgotten promise. That promise is mine. Nothing is ever lost, and what is wrought from love shall never perish. As you stand ready to enter a realm of boundless light, you will begin to feel these echoes more clearly. The unsaid words other souls once sent your way, the embraces emanating from the future through beams of light, the joys you once planted and will soon harvest in full contentment in the place where I dwell. So, my beloved, do not think that the beautiful events of your past have faded. They are only now beginning to take root in fresh soil, the soil of communion, of everlasting life, of unbroken connection among souls who dwell in the light. You will not enter as a stranger, but as one already known to heaven. Every time you stoop to uplift another, you are actually closer to me than ever. Now I invite you to finish the final movement of your life's symphony with a full, resounding note of surrender, a note that proclaims trust in the truth, that what begins in love will never end in darkness. When that note is sounded, all of heaven will pause to listen, and your soul will be lifted by the song of countless others, those you have loved and helped, those who passed through your life like brief, luminous stars. My deeply cherished one, at this sacred instant when the breath of earth begins to meld with the stillness of eternity, when the gentle light of the everlasting seeps into every part of your being, I implore you to open your heart entirely. Do not dread this transformation, for it is not a finality, but a divine crescendo leading from life's finite symphony to an everlasting melody that never ends. The journey you bring to a close on earth is merely the outer shell of a life far deeper, more radiant, and more hallowed than anything you ever imagined. Even as you depart from this temporary form, the essence of who you are will remain unlost. Your inner legacy, the silent reflections nurturing compassion, understanding, and spiritual insight, will endure like an unyielding fragrance, permeating the world through the lives you touched, through the words you spoke with love, the deeds you offered in quiet faith, the moments you fully listened to another. These will continue to resonate like sacred sound in eternity's vault. You did not live in vain, and that, my beloved, is a truth that cannot be undone. A life nurtured by tenderness, nourished through sacrifice, and tended with attention to even the smallest detail, is a life that has already brushed against the eternal. Though the form may fade, your spirit will remain a streak of light across memory's sky, like a candle burning for the lost, like a seed destined to blossom in the hearts of those you once touched with your love. I do not call you out of this world to end a chapter. I offer you a new manner of living, one vast, profound, and complete. A mode of existence that no longer needs a body to manifest love, that is no longer measured by time to reveal its worth. In that sacred land where all limitations dissolve like morning mist in the light of dawn, language becomes unnecessary, for souls communicate through deep resonance, through light, through silent harmony. You will not need to speak, for your presence alone will convey love fully. In that place, every boundary between I and other will vanish into a holy union. No distance, no walls, no distinct definitions, only a single current, the stream of life flowing from me, carrying every soul into the eternal divine rhythm. In that cadence, you will not disappear, but be refined, not to lose your identity, but to rediscover your true self on a higher plane, where your purest essence emerges without concealment. Envision, my beloved, a kingdom that requires no sunlight to shine, for my presence is the unfailing source of illumination. In that place, prayer is no longer necessary, for every longing has already been fulfilled. Hunger and thirst vanish, for love itself becomes bread and living water. Tears fade away, for every sorrow has been wiped by my embrace. You will not merely rest there, you will live in joyful motion, not through toilsome labor, but through a divine communion unlike any closeness you have ever known. It is a merging of beings in a harmonious dance, where each soul retains its unique splendor while resonating in perfect unity. You will feel like a single drop of water and simultaneously the entire ocean. You will realize that in every act of compassion you performed on earth, a fragment of the kingdom was born. Now, you do not enter as an outsider, but as a co-creator, one who helped write the opening verses of this eternal realm with living love. Nothing in you is forgotten, my child, including the silent anguish unseen by others. I perceived it all. Every time you chose forgiveness, though your heart still bled, I engraved it upon my heart. Every prayer you whispered in the dark when no one could hear, I captured it in my mind. It is precisely those things that unlock this gate where you now stand. Not because you were flawless, but because you were faithful. Not because you never stumbled, but because you never surrendered. The light you will step into greets you not as a stranger, but as one cherished and expected. I wait at the end of this corridor of light, not with eyes of judgment, but with arms wide open. I do not tally your missteps. I count every moment you chose love, every time you clung to hope, every time you took a step forward, even when all around you crumbled. I want you to know, it is enough. You have lived with authenticity. You have loved with true devotion. You have kept the flame of life alight, even amid the fiercest storms. Now your soul is liberated from the flesh's weight. It becomes as light as the wind, as brilliant as lightning, and as serene as water. You will soar through the heavens not by wings, but by a vibration tuned to eternal love. You will wander through gardens untarnished by decay, hear melodies requiring no ears, and sense the presence of loved ones without calling their names. My dearest, in this sacred moment when your soul comes closest to the realm where sorrow ends and all barriers dissolve, I approach not as a judge with scales, not with stern eyes critiquing missteps. No, my child, I come as a gentle companion, as a warm light in the darkest night, as a guide who journeyed before you and now returns, extending my hand with a tender smile to say, "It is time to come home." I come not to remind you of your imperfections, but to awaken within you the sacred wisdom that has always dwelt in your soul since the dawn of time. This wisdom does not derive from books, nor does it require words to express. It is found in each quiet choice you made when the world raged around you, in every moment you chose love over resentment, forgiveness over clinging to bitterness. There is nothing in your journey that merits regret. No experience was pointless, no moment wasted. From the overflowing joys to the seasons of grief that soaked your heart, each was sacred material forming who you are today. You are a work of art in progress, and every brushstroke of light and shadow in your life constitutes an indispensable facet in the splendid portrait nearing completion. Every wound, every scar, every time you fell and wept was not a failure. It was an engraving upon your soul, teaching you to feel deeply, to understand profoundly, and ultimately to become more like me. You have fought unseen battles, inner wars between light and darkness, faith and doubt. There were days you asked, "Lord, are you real? Am I on the wrong path?" I know, I was there. I heard the unspoken questions echoing within you. I upheld you when you had no strength left to pray. I held you tight through nights when you believed you were utterly alone. And in those very doubts, in those cries that seemed to echo into a void, your faith was forged, not in comfort, but in fire, in pain, in brokenness, in quiet perseverance through barren season. When you fell into what seemed like immeasurable pits of despair, when all light appeared to vanish, you did not collapse entirely because I rekindled a flicker of hope within you, small but mighty enough to keep you alive. Those moments when you were stripped of everything were when you encountered me most clearly, not through rituals, not through teachings, but through the living presence dwelling in the depths of your soul. From that place, you uncovered a love unbound by merit, a grace bestowed not because you were worthy, but because I am the one who never ceases to love. Everything you endured served a higher purpose, one you are now mature enough to apprehend. Your losses did not embitter you, they taught you to treasure life. The betrayals you endured did not harden you, they deepened your capacity to love genuinely. Your failures did not annihilate your worth. They revealed that your value lies not in outcomes, but in fidelity, especially when no one is watching, applauding, or even aware. After years of refinement through trials, your spirit has become like pure gold, refined in fire, impervious to praise or condemnation. You have become a soul who recognizes that you were not born for applause, but to reflect my light in the world's darkest corners. You learned that love is not a fleeting emotion, but a repeated choice, to stay, to forgive, to hope, even when your heart was wounded. Through those lessons, your soul was prepared not only to depart, but to return. You will not approach in doubt, nor with trembling uncertainty, but with a heart that remembers the way. With a soul awakened, eyes now capable of perceiving love's essence. The love you learned, lived, and chose through both suffering and joy is the key that opens the gate to eternal communion. In that love, you will find your path home, the place you never truly abandoned, only momentarily lost as you wandered through life's labyrinths. My beloved child, I extend my hand to you now, not to pull you from anything, but to lead you fully into the promise I have prepared. There is nothing left to prove, nothing left to fear. Everything is complete. You have lived, you have loved, you have suffered, you have hoped. Now, you will enter rest, not a cessation, but a wholeness. You will continue to live, but without the flesh's burdens. You will continue to love, but without fearing loss. You will linger in the present, but this time within my presence where separation does not exist. Dearest one, this is the moment I invite you to gently lay down the loads that rested on your shoulders throughout your earthly pilgrimage. Let doubt's shadows dissolve like mist before dawn. Release transient desires, those you once believed essential, only to find they were fleeting illusions. The time has come for your soul to be freed, not merely from physical fatigue, but from the unseen shackles that confined you to cycles of striving, fear, and remorse. Breathe deeply, not from weariness, but as a silent prayer surrendering all to me. You might not have realized it, but every hidden longing, every unspoken wish, every tear shed in private was not overlooked. They marked the sacred footsteps guiding you to this very moment. Each sigh you released in solitude was the soul's response to eternity, a hushed bell calling you into my embrace, attesting that deep within you always reached for me, even when you felt lost. Now, in the stillness of your soul, listen beyond words. There is a rhythm, a gentle, sacred, tender pulse, like the first heartbeat of creation, yet vast as the initial breath of the universe. It is the rhythm of eternity, a divine cadence your soul has always known, though it was often drowned by the world's clamor. But now, with all distractions hushed, you can finally hear it. You can finally feel it. Then you will realize that rhythm is me, that rhythm is you, that rhythm is love, beyond any limit of human thought. Let your spirit soar beyond the narrow confines of the material world, beyond measures, labels, and forms that once restricted your vision. Envision a realm without floor or ceiling, stretching without end. A dimension where each soul shines like a star, not outshining one another, but each glimmering uniquely while united in one luminous source. Every life, every journey, every story woven through a soul is a note in an eternal symphony that never ceases. You are part of that symphony. You are not an echo fading to silence. You are a living note, composed by my hand from the beginning. Your song, though at times faint, at times choked by sorrow, has always mattered. It has always contributed to the universe's wholeness. No note is ever out of harmony when sung with love and authenticity. Trust that every choice to love, every moment you stood between grief and hope, sculpted a radiant fragment of that unending melody. In the realm you approach, there is no separation. There is no I in the other. There are no boundaries dividing geography, race, religion, or any label humans use to estrange souls. Souls recognize one another not by names, but by their light, by resonance, by a love that never waned. In that place, loneliness has no dwelling, for every soul is embraced in a single, invisible, unbreakable bond. All existence, from angels to the fallen, from newborns to those who closed their eyes ages ago, converges into one eternal truth. I am love, and all that was born of love will return to love. Let that vision console your soul. Picture a place where you no longer wrestle to be understood, because every part of you is already fully known, where you no longer strive for acceptance, because love there is unconditional, where pain has dissolved like mist before dawn. In that place, you will reunite with those who once brought you joy, with those you wept for when they were gone, and even with those you never met but whose presence brushed your life like a breeze through leaves. They will be there, not as memories, but in true, living presence. And you will see yourself, not the weary, fractured version shaped by time and fear, but the complete and radiant being you were always destined to be. No more fractures, no more doubts, no more exhaustion. You will behold yourself as I always saw you, glorious, beloved, chosen, and never forgotten. You will perceive your soul as an eternal star resting in my hand, not because of what you accomplished, but simply because of who you are. And in that instant, everything will become clear. No more questioning, no more need to understand, only a profound knowing and absolute peace. Thus, stride forth, my beloved, not with weary steps, but with a soul renewed, not with a heart worn thin, but ablaze with a love immeasurably deeper than anything you ever knew. Let go, not as one lost, but as one who has run the race. Believe not through reason alone, but with the deepest conviction of your heart. Step into the light, not to vanish, but to become whole. My precious child, in this very moment, as the veil between the ephemeral and the everlasting parts before you, I do not come to take you away from anything, but to draw you closer to the center of unending love, where I have always waited, called, and reserved a place for you as an irreplaceable member of the unbroken communion that never runs dry. You have traversed through brightness and shadow, savored both tearful sorrows and sweet joys, and lived the exquisite ache of a soul that dares to love. Now I invite you even deeper, truer, fuller. Allow me to lead you into a brilliance no longer filtered by fear or doubt. A pure, unbroken radiance of divinity where all is disclosed without condemnation, where every essence is seen without boundary, where you behold yourself more clearly than ever before and feel no shame, no lack. In that place, surrender is not defeat, but the unblemished beauty of a soul that no longer needs to control, no longer needs to cling, no longer needs to prove its worth. For in the very act of release, you are at last free. There is an elegance in relinquishing the past, not because the past was wrong, but because it fulfilled its sacred role in teaching, shaping, awakening, and preparing you to receive all that I have prepared. Let the old memories flow away like rivers returning to the sea. No resistance, no attachment, just gratitude for the soil they cultivated and trust that they have nurtured the ground for something new to rise. Where you now go, no burdens can follow, only light. Souls can access the splendor of truth. Life, my child, has never been still. It is a current, a rhythm, a dance of ceaseless transformation. In every cell of the cosmos, in every breath you drew, there is motion, an invitation, not a threat. In movement, I sow seeds of renewal. Through the cracking of old shells, I open space for rebirth. You, my faithful one, have traveled through seasons of change, sometimes in silence, sometimes in anguish, yet always safeguarding a flicker of light within. Now is the moment for that spark to ignite, not merely to endure, but to flourish. Do not cling to the old shadows. They are only echoes of what is past. They hold no power except the power you allow them. Remember, they are shadows, and every shadow requires light to exist. But now, you do not dwell in reflected light. You step into the source of light, a place where nothing can remain hidden, yet nothing is to be feared. For there all things are perceived through mercy's gaze, with a love that understands every weakness, yet passes no condemnation. Lift your gaze, my child. Do not stay focused on what was lost. A horizon unfolds before you, vast, magnificent, and so boundless that your soul has never dared to perceive it. This horizon is not measured by distance, but by communion. It is not a location, but a new dimension of existence. A realm where every beginning carries no anxiety, and every ending leaves behind no sorrow. There, your soul will be lifted not by effort, but by the gentle trust that everything you ever were, everything you ever endured, everything you ever hoped for, has prepared you for this very instant. And this, my beloved, is not the conclusion of your journey. It is a metamorphosis, not the final sentence of a closing chapter, but the transformation from one form of life into a higher, deeper, and more radiant state. You are not ending something. You are being invited to become something new, invited to shed the worn garment and be clothed in glory, called from the dark earth where the seed lay dormant out into the dawn. Everything you once deemed lost is now being returned, refined, incorruptible, untouched by time. Imagine your soul as a flame no longer flickering in worldly gales. It stands unshaken, no longer trembling, no longer diminished by storms. That flame is not solitary. It has joined the eternal beacon shining in the sacred sea of souls who have come home. Every soul in that sea, every light in that sky, testifies to a single truth: love never fades, and everything I begin, I complete. You lose nothing that ever truly belonged to you. You are only invited to hold it again in its eternal form. The love you gave, the souls you lifted, the beauty you lived, none of it vanished. It has gone ahead of you, preparing the way. It will greet you not with mortal arms, but with an embrace more profound than any known in this realm. And when you step into that domain, you will see clearly that you were never forgotten, never abandoned. Every twist, every scar, every smile was guiding you here. So, my child, move forward unhesitatingly. Let my light enfold you. Let my love perfect all I initiated. Step into the unity that cannot be divided, and there you will be more than a redeemed soul. You will be an active part of the kingdom of light, where you shall live, love, and create in communion with me for all eternity. Are you ready, my beloved, to accept this eternal blessing? If you wish, I will continue recounting the moment you cross into the heavenly realm, called by a new name, receiving your everlasting commission in glorious union with me. Open your heart to a peace that does not rely on outward assurance, but on the profound inner certainty that you have walked in harmony with truth on this brief yet miraculous sojourn. Every decision, every moment you chose love over fear, hope over despair, has never been in vain. Those are the sacred stones placed along the path leading you straight into the core of eternal life. Allow no person or circumstance to cause you to doubt your worth, for your very presence on this earth is undeniable proof that you were sent with a profound purpose. Living wholeheartedly, passionately, compassionately, and with resolute faith, you have become a voice in the grand chorus of the cosmos, where all existence bears a sacred significance. Some moments may have slipped by in silence, unnoticed by others, but heaven recorded every sigh you breathed, every act of forgiveness you offered when no one watched, every tear that fell from wounds unseen. It is precisely these small, invisible moments that have become the unshakable foundation for the eternal reality you now approach. Now, allow yourself to be enveloped by the gentle mist of divine presence, a strength requiring no proof, offering no explanation, slowly surrounding you not to overwhelm, but to comfort and sustain. It is the power of a love that has never flickered, a power that carried you through every storm, and now draws you closer to the heart of the one who has loved you since before time existed. You have never been alone, though life's quietness may have made you question your path. In that very stillness, you were forged. In those unseen hours, you were shaped into a soul of light. Now, the journey ahead is not a hollow void, not a cold finality, but a return not to end a quest, but to begin a life unshackled by time, suffering, or loss. It is a glorious reunion with the source of all life. The moment you are embraced by the one who has awaited you since before creation, picture a place where no more tears are needed, where pain is fully healed. That place is not a distant fantasy. It is reality unfolding before your eyes. Each step you take toward it, each breath you release in peace, is a heartbeat in concert with heaven's melody. No longer must you shield yourself from storms. No longer must you hide your soul's fractures to seem strong. There you will finally see yourself as I have always seen you. A flawless work of art, a gem refined by tears, hope, and unwavering perseverance. My beloved, in this world, there are mysteries no one can fully grasp, but I comprehend them. There are pains words cannot touch, but I have heard the voice of your soul. There are dreams you buried believing it was too late, but I now call them forth, for this is the hour of restoration and completion. Nothing you sacrificed for love, for faith, for righteousness has gone unnoticed, and I am the one who ensures such sacrifice is never squandered. Now, as the final veil gently falls, you will begin to see clearly all that once seemed hidden. The purpose behind every burden, the meaning within every trial, and the reward awaiting your steadfast heart. The peace you feel now is not fleeting. It is evidence you have lived in harmony with your soul. It is heaven's confirmation that your life was never a mere moment, but a permanent mark upon the flow of existence. You are not merely an observer of the miraculous. You are part of the miracle itself, and every moment you still draw breath remains a contribution to a far grander story, a divine tapestry woven by heaven and earth with your life as one of its sacred threads. Now, as the gates of eternity gradually open before you, step forward without trepidation. Do not concern yourself with what remains undone, for I will carry forward all you began in faith. Do not torment yourself over past missteps, for I have woven even those failures into a tapestry of grace. And do not think you must carry anything extra to prove your worth, for you, your heart that has known both love and suffering, are the most precious offering you can present. When you arrive at that moment, the moment your soul reaches the realm where darkness can no longer exist, you will recognize that nothing was in vain. Every laughter shared, every act of unconditional forgiveness, every unassuming day lived with honesty has been remembered. It has been woven into a garment of glory prepared uniquely for you. There you will find no regret, only gratitude. No fear, only pure love. No more separation, only sacred union with the one who breathed you into being. My beloved child, rest now, not because the conflict has concluded, but because the victory was always yours, even before it began. Exhale your final burdens so that you might enter wholeness unencumbered. Believe that every blessing awaits you, not because you never stumbled, but because I saw your heart soar above those falls with unshakable faith. There in the heart of eternal life, you will no longer be the one searching, but the one who has truly found. You will know fully, even as you have been fully known, and that peace will remain with you forever. Now offer me your heartfelt prayer. Speak these words. Lord, I clasp nothing, for I know every breath of mine is inscribed in the book of life. If I walked through valleys of doubt, fear, or unmet longing, be the final light dispelling every residual shadow. I do not wish to bear regret, but to hold a heart eager to step into the splendor you have prepared. Let me melt into the river of your love and unite with the divine rhythm echoing throughout the heavens. Lord, today I kneel as a pilgrim who has completed the earthly journey. Earth's dust still clings to my feet, but my heart is ready to come home. I thank you for not allowing me to stray, for even when my vision faltered, you guided me in silence. If this is the hour I return to you, grant that my soul relinquish every burden of the flesh and rise like morning incense to behold you face to face, not through a dim reflection, but in full glory. Is this the glorious reward I have long awaited, Lord? In this consecrated moment, standing between two worlds, I proclaim with all my being, I am ready. Let the light from your throne illumine my path, so that each step I take is upheld by your eternal promise. If anything remains incomplete, be the one who accomplishes it. If there is love I left unspoken, be the voice that speaks on my behalf to comfort those I leave behind. For in you nothing is lost, no deed forgotten, no tear unnoticed. Embrace me in your everlasting arms, where all limits vanish and love is all. O Lord, the Alpha and the Omega, the one who commenced all things and in whom all things reach their end, I unite my soul to your eternal being. Let me be dissolved into the divine melody reverberating through creation. I no longer dread the unknown, for I have heard the call emanating from a realm deeper than comprehension, a realm to which I always belonged. If my journey onward is a return to the imperishable source, let my soul ascend. Let it shed the chains of worry and merge into the radiant light of your presence, where each soul is loved, chosen and awaited since before time itself. And so, beloved, as we draw the curtain on these sacred reflections, let your heart rest in the truth that nothing you have ever offered in love or faithfulness has been forgotten. Every moment of sacrifice, every tear of compassion, every whispered prayer in the night has been etched into the fabric of eternity. If your spirit stirs within you now, know that a deeper journey awaits you here on this channel. Each video we share is another brushstroke on the canvas of divine revelation, another step in walking ever closer to the heart that formed you and knows you by name. If today's message stirred something within your soul, an ache for hidden truths, a hunger for unending grace, then return often, for there is more to explore in the realms of hope and heart. Subscribe and keep your heart tuned to the next whisper of encouragement we will bring. Leave a comment beneath this video sharing what your spirit yearned for most, and let us walk together in the unfolding light. Hit that notification bell so that when new reflections arrive, you will not miss a single moment of living truth. Invite others who carry a sacred longing in their hearts, those who need a gentle touch of encouragement, to join us here. Share this video with a friend, a neighbor, or anyone whose soul longs to hear that they are never forgotten, never alone, always loved. In every click and every share, you become a living testament that love echoes beyond time and reaches into every corner of this world and beyond. Return to this place often. Here, you will find a community of souls pressing into the same promise, that nothing we offer in faith is ever in vain, and that each step toward divine light transforms us into vessels of healing and truth. Come back and let us continue to uncover the hidden beauty in every season of life. For in Christ our journey finds its true home, and in Christ we shall never be left wanting. Until we meet again, may your soul know deep peace, may your spirit cling to hope, and may you always remember that the love that called you here will guide you onward into every unfolding dawn. Amen.